Hello. The title of our work is The Problem of Estimating the Sustainable Development of the Integrated Technogenic Industrial System. Carrying out a comprehensive analysis of the sustainability of regional development involves the use of criteria and indicators that allow to obtain a reliable assessment of its level, direction, and intensity of change. However, economics has not finally developed approaches to justify their choice. Methods of calculation, determination of patterns of development. The main disadvantage of existing methodological provisions is that they do not allow to fully assess the sustainability of the region, the degree of influence of various factors on the level of its change, and discrepancies with the limit values. Different views among scholars dealing with the problem of sustainable development of the region are manifested in the choice of criteria that should be the basis for assessing the sustainability of development. The global goal of this research is to create a methodology for making managerial decisions for sustainable, safe, secure, and viable development of environmental economy and integrated technogenic systems and objects. The concept of sustainable and safe development of the state and individual regions allows to ensure stable and balanced development of four sectors: economic, ecological, social, and spiritual and moral unity on the basis of innovative socio-humanitarian technologies, combining the principles of economic efficiency, social security, and environmental safety. Mankind has reached the point where modern civilization, often called technogenic consumer, has found its hopelessness, when it's necessary to seriously reconsider its basis and consciously choose another, spiritual and ecological, development strategy, otherwise humanity may be destroyed from Earth due to global systemic crises that have erupted in recent years. To solve this problem, humanity needs to abandon a number of stereotypes and direct the vector of civilizational development to the formation of the sphere of mind, Noosphere, according to Vernadsky. The formation of the Noosphere ecological imperative is associated with the formation of a society that is able to ensure the coevolutionary and viable development of civilization for planetary integrity. Sustainable and safe development is impossible without the spiritual, cultural, and educational improvement of man himself. The problem of sustainable development on the basis of the hexagon of fixed assets. The main assets that support the viability of integrated systems are the following 7 factors: social capital, financial capital, natural capital, physical capital, labor resources, human capital, and institutional factor. The generalized production technological function can be represented in general as a non-linear function. It can be used to analyze the sustainable development. The level of sustainable development is assessed by using the index ISDL, which is calculated as the sum of indices for 4 areas: economic, ecological, social, and humanitarian, with the appropriate weight coefficients. Each of these indices are calculated using well-known in international practice indices and indicators. The index of economic area is formed from 2 global indices: the index of competitive development, developed by the organizers of the World Economic Forum. This index is calculated annually for 117 economies of the world and is published in the form of the so-called Global Competitiveness Report. The competitiveness index is formed from the following three indicators: the indicator of technological development of the country, indicator of civil institutions, and indicator of macroeconomic environment. These three indicators are calculated based on the use of 47 data sets of the state of technology and innovation development, the level of information and communication technology, the level of research and development spending, the level of foreign investment, the level of business independence from government, the level of corruption in the country. Index of Economic Freedom, which was developed by the Intellectual Center of the Heritage Foundation, is published annually in the Wall Street Journal. The Index of Economic Freedom is formed from the following 10 indicators: country's trade policy, fiscal burden from the government intervention in the economy, monetary policy, capital flows and foreign investment, banking and financial activities, pricing and remuneration policies, private property rights, regulatory policies, informal market activity. These 10 indicators are calculated based on the use of 50 sets of various economic, financial, legislative, and administrative data. The index of ecological area is assessed using the well-known Environmental Sustainability Index, calculated by the Center for Environmental Law and Policy at Yale University for 146 countries. This index is formed of 21 environmental indicators, which were calculated based on the use of 76 sets of environmental data on the state of natural resources in the country, the level of environmental pollution in the past and today, the country's efforts to manage environmental conditions, characteristics, and more. The index of the social area is formed by averaging three global indices: Index of Quality and Safety of Life, developed by the International Organization Economist Intelligence Unit. This index is formed using the following 9 indicators: rating of political stability and security of the country, the number of divorced families per 1,000 population, level of public activity, differences in latitude between warmer and colder regions of the country, unemployment rate in the country, the level of political and civil liberties in the country, the ratio between the average wages of men and women. Human Development Index, used by the United Nations Development Programme, is formed with the help of the following 3 indicators: the average life expectancy of the country's population, the level of education and standard of living of the country's population, measured by GDP per capita at purchasing power parity. Index of Knowledge-Based Society, developed by the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Development. This index is determined by 3 main indicators: intellectual assets of society, development prospects of society, and development quality of society, which are formed by 15 data sets on the level of youth education, information, investment climate in the country, corruption, inequality of material and social benefits, the level of child mortality. The value of the humanitarian index is equal to the sum of the values of all indicators included in it multiplied by the corresponding weight coefficients and is calculated by the following formula. Conclusion. The economic approach to modeling sustainable development was considered, which consists of the optimal use of limited resources and applies natural, energy, and resource-saving technologies to generate aggregate income. At the same time, the transition to the information society leads to a change in the structure of aggregate capital in favor of human, increasing intangible flows of information, and intellectual property. The problem of sustainable development through 7 main assets that support the viability of socio-environmental and economic systems is considered. The concept of sustainable development is a system of global measurements of sustainable development, and the level of sustainable development are defined. The use of these methods will increase the efficiency of solutions in the management of technogenic regional production, and will increase the efficiency of the use of innovations, and will identify areas of innovation strategies of the regions. Thanks for your attention.